So, I have been super overwhelmed recently. I have been extremely overwhelmed, and I'm going through this spiritual awakening journey, which I didn't ask for. The biggest challenge that I'm having, even though I trust the nature of our Creator, even though I think I understand Jesus and I'm in love with Him and I love Him so much, and I find Him in nature, and I'm so in love with nature, and I'm so in love with the processes of nature, even though that I am reconnecting with my femininity and learning how to ground myself in my nature, and what are the environments and the places that make me feel more like myself. I still continue to struggle with controlling energy. It's extremely hard coming from corporate law. Like, I am trying to unlearn the system. I am trying to release, and it's really interesting how the situation that I've been placed in is a situation that I unfortunately can't control myself, because the feelings of other people that are involved in the situation are really important, and the situation is really nuanced. Also, it's clear to me that money has a crucial part to play in all of this. I find that when I am the most anxious, when I want to do things faster, when I'm the most controlling and I'm the most bossy, is when I feel that my security is going to be disrupted because of financial situations. And I've been sharing a few things on my Instagram, because this journey with spiritual awakening, it can be really overwhelming, and it also can be really lonely. So I share my things there, and someone made a comment in one of my videos. Essentially narrowing down the system to the pursuit of money, because obviously money determines everything. Our acquisition power, and how we go about life. So it's very interesting that I have this defiance against the system, having lived in different societies, having lived in humble conditions and more affluent conditions, coming from corporate law. And it's very interesting how the situation that I found myself in is one that's really challenged me financially, because in my case, once I know something, I can't not know it. Like, I can't ignore it. And once the idea that actually I can ride with the universe. Like, I don't have to do things the traditional way. I can let God open doors for me. Why would I put myself through systems that are unfair and unjust and nonsensical when I can develop myself to a level that allows me to have a relationship with God that is such that I don't have to do things the way people do things to achieve an outcome. I want to understand how to do that, which is what Jesus did. And I really fell in love with this concept of like being Jesus' wife, like being God's wife, because I don't know. He's so romantic with me. Like I found everything in creation so romantic. But the wife is not in control. The wife trusts. And so that is my nature. And I have a relationship with God since I was like very small. And it's a relationship of intimacy, because when I used to write in my diary, I didn't used to write Dear Diary, I used to write Dear God. And I would tell him all my secrets. But unconsciously, because I'm growing every single week, and I'm daring myself to do things that are bold, that are strong, that challenge me, things to do with my feelings, things to do with being vulnerable, things to do with showing myself authentically. It comes to a point where I find myself like so invested in the part of like I have to grow, I have to keep pushing, I have to do the work, that without realizing I'm bringing the same mentality, I'm bringing the same mentality of execution, having to prove your worth, having to work really hard for what you want, having to have things planned, organized. But God is all about the heart. I don't even think that there is such thing as the timing of God is perfect, because I think it's all about how balanced and harmonious are we with the things that we love in our hearts, because that is truly what unchains a difference out there in the world. And I find myself once again, once I feel like I'm doing progress, and this is the voice of the snake, this is the voice of anxiety that disguises itself, right? Once I feel that I'm getting close and I'm making progress, I'm like, this is it. I must push myself, I must keep going, I must do this, and I find myself overwhelmed with lots of things. But the whole point, which is what I'm beginning to understand, is to enjoy the process so much, to really see the beauty of the process, to really see how blessed you are to be in this situation, to really see how incredibly fortunate you are to be where, like, I can see my situation in two different ways. One, I went through like so much work for 10 years. I broke my back, I left my family, didn't have time for my friends, I changed my identity, I believed a bunch of lies, I fell in love with the wrong person, I worked extremely hard for 10 years, I I had to, I realized that I was in the wrong career, that I was not aligned with what I wanted to do. I had to leave alone, and it was like a crazy rupture. And then I had to leave my relationship. Then I got really confused. I had so many feelings and I had so many dreams and instincts that I had to balance that on top of my journey with faith and spirituality. And then I fell in love with a man. And my dreams started to tell me that this man is my husband in the future. But this man is in an extremely hectic situation. The whole journey has been chaotic. I've been on my own. So that's one perspective. I am believing to think that truly life is a game of perspective. It's a situation of perspectives. And when I'm in perspective A, the person that I become inside is extremely anxious, is insecure, is scared, it's very controlling, it's very bossy. But then I can see my reality as this girl who is extremely blessed and lucky and privileged and truly has been treated like the wife of the universe, and I'm going to explain you why. From a very young age, I just had this connection with God, that I just saw God and the Creator as my best friend. And I had no shame, no fear, no insecurity. I was all about the things that I like, I was all about writing down the things that I like, the things that I like and the things that I don't like. So I will write the things that I like, the things that I like, and from writing the things that I like, the things that I like, the things that I like, I started to narrow down everything that makes me me, that I want to be associated with. So I did that in my diary, and I will tell my secrets to God and all of that. That shaped the way that I perceive my relationship with God, in a sense that I bring in Him in every aspect of my life in a way that is very like genuine, and it's like He's actually there, in my mind and in my heart. It's like I involve Him in anything. Like I break the rules and I behave nasty with somebody, and I'll be complaining to God like, fucking hell, like this person, why does the fuck doesn't want him to, like I'll be speaking like this with God, like there's no filters between us. And I feel like that's really stayed with me. It was only when I just, like I was really fortunate to live in a family where I received a lot of love, a lot of respect. I was encouraged to be myself. I was encouraged to to say my opinion, to express myself, to explore myself, and I was always like very daring, and I just had this daring element, this defiant element of like, I'm a sweet girl, but hey, I do things my own way. I do things in my own pace. I am gonna do things in the way that I do things, and don't mess with me. And I'm just, this is who I am. And life happens. You have to go to school. You have to learn. You have to start thinking about career and everything. I was drawn towards my entire life, and I was always encouraged to pursue the things that I love. So naturally I was like, okay, I am going to do art. I'm going to learn about artistic techniques. I'm going to become an art critic, and I'm going to work in environments that are beautiful, and then they enhance the importance of beauty and all of that. And they're encouraged by self-expression, and encourage people to question themselves, to question the critical thinking, all of that. And then the crisis hit Venezuela, and then I just had to take more practical steps on how to run my life, and that was the moment where I feel like I was really caught up by a more materialistic view of the world. But this is not something negative. When I moved to England to pursue a career, I was young. definitely was operating on a survival consciousness kind of like mentality, but I was still determined to experience the world. I came to England with extreme faith that God would open doors for me, and he did in fact did so much to open doors for me. But being in this circle, in this culture, kind of like grounded me in a reality that was very much material centered. Like, it was about having enough money for the rent, thinking about the future, and I suppose I've been far away from my family affected me and influenced me in that, and the crisis in Venezuela. But I feel like the things that have passed for these 10 years, they have, I mean, it's been really challenging, but I've had the opportunity to have a teaspoon of absolutely everything in the world. I mean, not absolutely everything, but a lot of really, really crucial things in the world for the last 10 years. I've had the opportunity to really come across topics that are extremely extremely clever. I've had the opportunity to be in rooms with people that are very influential and experience different parts of society. Has been the past 10 years have challenged me, but I have learned a very, very important part about human existence and reality, enough to, even before starting my spiritual awakening, like, I was able to comprehend that this is how people run their lives, but this is not everything about existence. This is a system, a structure that has been created by people who don't know everything. And it's been a learning opportunity, and it's been extremely soul crushing to go through this, but I understand that I had to go through it in order to be able to do something with it, because if what I have in my heart is like leadership or some kind of like instinct to help other people, I need to be able to know my subjects. And right now, going through that, seeking God, understanding existence, trying to understand existence from a more pragmatic view, it's really kind of like giving me the subjects that are really challenging my mind to evolve and elevate at a different level. It requires so much brain power and intention. It's a lot more than thinking. It's a lot more than feeling. It's a lot more than faith. It's a lot more than religion. It's the subject of feelings and the energy that you're storing in your heart becomes the primary subject, because if you're peaceful, if you're happy, if you're content, you're aligned. If you're not, you are not. So it's kind of like the reflection of all of this is teaching me that it's not about the timing of God being perfect. It's not about what's happening up there. It's not about following the status quo. It's no. It's about finding what I love, doing what I love, doing it with love in order to get to love. And that is what's gonna keep me peaceful. If I'm not peaceful, if I'm not enjoying the process, it doesn't matter how much I work for this outcome. The feelings that I'm storing in my heart are anxiety, control, fear, and that is a fracture between my relationship with God. Because if I'm saying, God, I know that you're my husband, like, I know that you sent me here, I am a girl, I want to be a girl, like, I asked you, teach me how to be a woman. Maybe that was my mistake, I don't know. And he's truly asking me how to be in my best, more fine-tuned element in order to understand my powers, not in the traditional normal sense of executionary power that somebody will do, but different kind of powers that for some reason have to do with feelings, how you conduct yourself, how you present yourself out there, and how that then reverts back into your life. And right now I am going through this process of learning how to use the powers, the female powers that God has given me, and how to relate with Him and all of that. And so if I use perspective A, it doesn't matter how much love I feel for God, it doesn't matter how much I am convinced about creation and about God's existence, and let me just get my phone. It doesn't matter how much God's existence and all of that, I feel that I feel so disconnected from myself with perspective A. And that's when I am in a more executionary kind of like reality where I feel like I have to do. But the reality is that deep down, when I try and sit down and understand what's going on, I feel like it's not really about doing more. It's not really about putting yourself out there more. It's more about quality than quantity, quite literally, and it's about the quality of my heart. I have to be extremely honest, but I am learning that extreme honesty and that extreme authenticity, it's not just for me to go and voice my concerns and complain and explain to the world absolutely every single step that I'm taking, but I am learning that it's about my relationship with myself, being extremely honest about the things that I love, doing them. I need to write them down. Maybe I'll do these things. Doing them, extremely honest about the things that I like, being extremely authentic with myself. I'm not gonna do what's gonna guarantee me success. I'm not gonna do what's what the industry expects me to do. I'm not gonna use my social media platforms how the world expects me to do. I'm not going to move at the rhythm that the world expects me to do. The answers, I will find them by understanding what are the things that give me peace of mind. Because the things that give me peace of mind are the things that are going to make me happy and to be in love. Because like birds know how to fly, because they have a code written within them, I know how to be myself. I just really need to do what I need to do that is good for myself. No good for me to be safe financially and safe economically and safe in a loving relationship, and no. The things that are good for me, that I enjoy doing, like I'm a child. I have to treat myself like I am a child. I am my child, and this is not something that I need to learn to go and tell other people, oh, you need to treat yourself like a child. No, do the homework yourself. Focus on yourself. Like, stop leaking energy. Stop leaking energy on other people, because you're waiting on other people to give you your opportunities. Understand that the opportunities that you will have and the doors that will be opened by God Himself when you love yourself so much, you do the things with love, and you reach love. The ultimate outcome, the opportunity that you want to find, the answer is the balance of love. That is what I'm learning right now. And so yesterday I was extremely anxious. I have to, I'm gonna be very careful with how I present the information. I've been getting emails about things that I have to do, and people around me, question my journey. They push me to do things in particular way, they start rejecting, they start asking me how are you going to do this, how are you going to do that, how are you going to respond to this. So absorbing all of that, even though that I am actively fighting that mindset, undoubtedly comes to a moment where I feel like, without even realizing, I'm already like rushing. And yesterday I was very anxious. Like this whole week I have been moving at a pace. Like I went through a phase where I was very calm and I was doing things slowly, and I was doing things, I was giving myself time, I was giving myself time to think, I was giving myself time to journal, and it was beautiful. I was really enjoying it, and I was I don't know, I just felt like a feather. It's just beautiful. And then I enter a phase where my whole spiritual journey and spiritual awakening stuff, I mean, initially I didn't even know that this was spiritual awakening. Initially I thought I was just learning to communicate with God. But now I've been realizing that the more that I actually try to implement Jesus as a formula in my life, and the more that I actually try and see myself as a child and adopt the mindset of a child, removing judgment, removing fear, removing shame, removing guilt, removing blame, to understand who I am inside, my talents, the things that I like, and allow myself the space to do those things. The more that I do that, the more that my mind begins to change. Like I'm not actively changing it, it begins to adopt that model. I don't have to think about it anymore. Like the guilt is gone, the judgment is disappearing for real. And so that puts me on a different level of consciousness, and I'm entering like a new phase. And after my baptism, I feel like my soul released so many like filters that didn't allow me to understand my reality in the way that I understand my reality now. Like the child has come back, and the child without judgment, fear, guilt, and all of that. It's like, wait, so all this time you've been performing for people, and the things that you wanted to do, you didn't do them, you know, like how hard is this? So I've been dealing with like a lot of like grieving feelings, which I also want to learn to release, because I understand everything was part of the process. But the feelings of grief, the feelings of, you know, like the shaking feelings of like, oh my gosh, what's happening? You know, like, what am I doing here? What reality is this? Those feelings unstabilized the groundedness that I had developed in my relationship with God, and I have stopped going outside for walks. I have stopped like doing my little videos and stuff. I have stopped talking out loud. I have stopped journaling. I have stopped writing, and I have been more on a systemic pattern of what I should do. Because once again, my mind tricked me into believing, okay, we have reached this phase now, so now maybe it's the time to start doing. And you know, like, you have to put yourself out there for God to work. So let's put loads of videos, let's create different things. And I'm not putting my videos for them to perhaps make me famous or anything, but I'm doing it for exercise purposes, like for to break the ego, essentially. Then that's the same thing that I do with LinkedIn. To allow me to bypass of shame and fear. And so that's why I appear in my videos. I'm not like super glamorous or anything. I'll just record myself how I am with the mess and everything, because it's part of like, this is my reality, and it's really helped me. But yesterday specifically, well, this week specifically, because there have some things that I have seen in practice. Like I am learning to follow my heart. So I am learning that Jesus, like once you remove all ego and everything, and you are actually like beginning to honor like the voice of love in your heart. But again, it's hard to follow the voice of love, because sometimes the snake disguises as the voice of love, and this is what I'm learning. So what I've been doing this week, I thought it was the voice of love, It was the snake. The snake is like, oh yeah, you need to understand what you like, you need to understand what you love, you need to do it, you need to do it, you need to put yourself out there, you need to do this, you need to do that, blah, blah, blah. Do, execution. You know, like, the time is running, blah, 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 the time is running. And so it makes me rush. It's the same consciousness style, and it's the same survival consciousness that determines the modality of work incorporate in the system. And so yesterday I was like I had done so much, I was so exhausted, and I was like, God, please. And then I realized that I had become so busy and obsessed with executing for God to work that I forgot about my relationship with God. I forgot about doing the things that I love, which are going on a walk, appreciating nature, appreciating how wonderful He is, understanding my nature by seeing nature, understanding that He wants the best for me, understanding that He is subtle, He's gentle, He's kind, and He's always treated me like a princess, that He doesn't want me to worry about things because He has everything under control. He doesn't want me to stress about things because He has everything under control, that He really wants me to trust Him so much so that I can literally just grab my basket, go explore nature, sit there, journal, and live like a princess, so that my heart is white, completely white the heart is. And so the ideas and the things can actually enter my ecosystem in a very safe way, and I find myself with the energy, with the love, with the patience, with the peace, with the balance to do the things that I actually want to do, not the things that the snake tells me that I want to do. So when I am desperate trying to find what I love, well, that is because I haven't been following the voice of love. That's because I've been following the snake that's trying to rush me. Perspective A. I want to take a step back. I really want to understand, like, the things that I love. And I think I know the things that I love. I know the things that I love so well. Yeah, today I read a comment about the whole systemic perspective is built with money. Money is the determinant, is the ruler of the system. People are chasing money, people are chasing safety, people are chasing security. Because deep down, we are so scared that we're going to be affected by that, and we don't know how we're going to function. I feel that I have put in this very specific situation because God is truly training me to be the wife. And this subject of being the wife is very close to my heart because I understand the Bible, I understand creation as a romantic story. I understand my relationship with God in a really romantic way. I understand women really romantically. I understand the role that we women provide to society in a very, very romantic way. Everything is about romance in my case, and He really wants to surprise me in a way that I'm like, oh my gosh, so You've done all of that for me and I didn't have to work for it. I know that deep down, I know that. But the fear sits here. The fear of and I keep forgetting. The fear sits here, and the reminder everyone's projecting it on me. Dealing with people is very hard. Dealing with people's projections is extremely difficult. And I keep pushing myself. But right now, I can't give in. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna give up and go and work in a fruit shop. If he's not allowing me to work, it's because he doesn't want me to do the traditional thing. And I need to understand it. And that's gonna require a level of trust that it's beyond anything, that I'm able to fully release the thought. Forget that money exists. Forget about it completely. You're not living, like, your reality is not dictated by how much money you earn. Your reality is not dictated by the work that you put out there. Your reality is not dictated by execution. You are the wife. What does the wife do? What does the wife wants to do? Well, the wife wants to go and explore the husband, nature, creation, all beautiful, angelical things, which is like the things that I love. The wife wants to go on a walk. She wants to be with the husband. She wants to prepare things for him. Like, I would love to, I don't know, I like taking photos of nature. I like writing, like, nice things for him. I like to sing as well, like, when I have to think about me singing for the world, so I'm always like attacking myself, because I'm like, oh, my broken voice is not good enough for people, blah blah blah. But when I have to sing for him, I just sing, and it's fine. I know he likes it. I like to journal. I like to be super girly. I like my pastel colors and my heels. And he just makes me feel like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Like butterflies and little birds and swans and everything. And he puts me in the most romantic places always. So when I begin to be so in tune with him that I can follow, that I can actually recognize the things that I like and do those things that I really love, and start to see beauty in people, beauty in animals, beauty in the opportunities, beauty in the things. I see the trees like moving and I feel like he's waving at me. It's in that moment where loneliness disappears. And I realize that I'm not alone. I've never been. He's always there. He's always in communication with me. And I remove all dependency and I start to enjoy my reality with him, and then things start to flow, and I understand this, and I know that this is the key. So I'm taking a step back. I'm getting out of perspective A. I'm entering again perspective B. I understand that my reality is not dictated or ruled by money, but by love. And I'm gonna make this the anthem of my life. My reality is not dictated by money, but by love. And this is the anthem of my life. I have everything that I need, and I will have absolutely everything that I need by chasing love, but I need to understand the harmony of love. The harmony of love is loving myself, pursuing what I love with love. I know that I'm in the harmony of love when I'm peaceful. I know that I'm in the harmony of love when I'm peaceful. And right now, I know that I've experienced something quite wonderfully. When I speak with myself, and when I speak nice things to myself, and when I tell myself, like, all the answers that you need are written within yourself. You're like a bird. You don't need to go to school to learn how to fly. You know how to fly. Stay with yourself. Explore yourself. Don't worry about what people are doing. Don't worry about how people do things. Stay with yourself. All the answers are within you. So I start to think. And does something to my body that it removes a lot of things, a lot of crazy things. That the snake really goes away. Snake. I'm loved and protected always. I'm always loved. I'm always loved. I'm always loved. I'm loved and protected. I feel like Aurora, the princess, singing to the lovely animals. It does something to my body that fear, the seeds fear, it just disappears. And last week I experienced something wonderful for the first time. I experienced what it is to attract in action. So I've been experiencing these in different ways for some time now. But when I do something and I'm in myself and I'm in my element and I do something selflessly, not being selfish, but I know that I want to do it, and I know that I want to give, and I know that's going to be at a cost, but I want to give, you know. And so I follow that heart instinct, even if it's risky, even if it's daring, whatever. I follow the heart instinct. I do things and it comes back on the other side. But it's not always like that. It's not always, oh, I follow what I love and it's going to come back. No. Because when I follow what I love with an intention of anxiety and with the intention of getting something from the other side, we're not embodying we're not embodying the balance of love. We're not. We're being self-seeking, self-centered, with fear, with anxiety. So it doesn't come back. And last week something incredible happened. Like, you know, I go and walk into places, and you know, like sometimes just for some reason I attract things, sometimes for some reason I just don't. But last week it was insane. I was at the beach and I was like doing the practice that I'm telling you. And I was in my most pure, childish embodiment, you know. I was playing with the water as I walked past. I was literally just appreciating the tiny rocks, and it was like a child when they grow up the grass and they start doing things with it, and they look at everything and everything feels impressive and wonderful. I was like that. It was such a pure moment, and I didn't plan for it. I just felt like that in that moment. And so I entered this place, and the amount of attention and solidarity and kindness that I got from people was incredible. Like, people were just interested in me. They were asking questions, they were telling me like nice compliments, like, and absolutely everybody was just like all around me. And it was just like, I was just wearing like a whatever dress. I was not wearing makeup. I was in flip-flops. It was not my best moment, for sure. It was something that attracted people, that made people curious about me. And I was like, okay. Then I took a step back when I once again became so fascinated by that I went on the execution side of it, and I was like, okay, so this is the answer. And I was like, this is the answer, so I'm gonna do it this way. And then I started to do it, and then I got like tired and frustrated, and And yesterday I was super exhausted, and I was like, no, this cannot be it. Like the way that I'm doing things, it cannot be, because I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling very drained right now. And I put a bunch of videos. I put like 10 videos in one day on my TikTok account, and I was like, there's something odd about this. This is not it. I think I will continue with my research. I will continue being honest, but I feel like I truly have to do things that are good for me without looking at everyone else. I have to believe in myself. I have to believe in what my God instinct tells me. I have to believe in my own interpretation of reality and of the world. And I have sacrificed so many things, not because I felt obliged, but because that I believe that there is a better way of doing things. I believe that we're super loved. I believe that God is an incredible creator. I believe that God is the most amazing, wonderful designer there is. I'm fascinated by nature. I think nature truly gives us like so many clues in design, and it gives us the purpose of life itself, which is to enjoy creation, to enjoy one another, to love, to fall in love with God, to be so attuned with who we are and the things that we like, to be in our environment of love, that we're able to remove like judgment, fear, anxiety, guilt, frustration, all of those things, to sit with ourselves like a child sits down with its color pens and starts to do its own thing. Sit with yourself, enjoy your reality of the world, and then see your journey with God, your creative journey, your journey of creating something. That is the most intimate act of being with God. See how that unfolds something. And your creative journey, I'm learning that it's very personal and it's not the same. Like, I feel like, oh God, I have this thing that I'm like, but why do I need to do the same thing with social media like everyone else? Like, I refuse. I don't want to be using social media that way. I don't want to be like all about the filters and all about the makeup and all about the high production thing. I like natural things. I like to be natural. I like to show myself how I am. I've been hiding myself for so long. I'm not going to be hiding myself now that I'm finding who I am. No, I don't want to. For some reason, the things that I like to talk about is about my relationship with God and nature. Like, that's my topic. That's the subject of existence for you. Like, there cannot be nothing that is more fascinating for me than that. I can talk about it all day. That's all I want to talk about. And I like beauty. I feel like the role of beauty in creation, it's a wonderful reminder that we are here to be captivated. We are here to fall in love. And beauty comes in many, many different ways, because God is an incredible designer. There's so much diversity out there in nature, and it just shows how diversity is what makes things wonderful and exciting. I like helping people. I like being kind with people. I like being able to see through people's hardness, to meet their heart, and to actually see you're actually good. No, I know that you want to play bad boy, but you're good. Like, I can feel it, you know? And so I'm creating something here which I don't know where it's taking me, but I feel like as long as it's me enjoying myself, I will be able to get there, because the whole point, and I feel like the whole key of everything, is enjoy yourself, feel peaceful, provide yourself the environment of love. There's not any other point. Otherwise, I cannot get to where I need to get if I'm not enjoying myself. I cannot get to where I need to get if I'm not loving myself. Like, it's just gonna be a systemic, fake, illusionary outcome. And I don't want an illusionary outcome. I want the real thing. I want to be impressed. I told God I want to be impressed, and I know that it makes me scared. But I will challenge myself. I will challenge myself up to the very end. I don't care about anything. If I trust that He is the creator of the universe, and that He's put me here and He won't let me down. I have nothing to fear. I have nothing to fear. I can continue to go. I can continue to go. Money is not going to dictate my reality. Love is. Money is not going to dictate my reality. Love is. So I need to provide myself with the things that I love, because He's telling me you are going to love yourself. You are going to love yourself so much, because I love yourself so much. You are going to love yourself so much. You're going to give yourself so much love. I don't want you leaking energy. I don't want to leak you energy on other people. Like, you keep complaining that you've been pouring so much energy on other people. That's good. Complain. Because I also agree, you have been pouring so much energy on other people. You have to pour energy on yourself. You have to put effort and investment and commitment and believe in yourself. You cannot see the final product because you haven't been putting the energy on yourself so far. So I want you loving yourself. I want you nurturing yourself. I want you making yourself beautiful. I want you playing with clothes. I want you writing. I want you singing about the things that you love. I want you appreciating nature. I want you being with people. I want you being with friends. I want you being with animals. I want you being able to fall in love with me every single day, because that's the reason that I send you here on earth. So if you want to be the wife, behave like the wife. If you want to be the wife, behave like the wife. I'm tired. I'm tired of treating myself like a robot. I'm tired of treating myself like I'm in the military. I'm tired of treating myself like I'm just here to perform and to try and earn people's respect and love, when inside I know I have wonderful feelings. Inside I know that I just care for people. I just literally want to give the best, and I literally just want to be there to be able to tell people how incredible they are, how loved they are, how supported they are, how we can change our realities, how we don't have to go through things on our own, how we can, get together and support one another, I know what I'm made of. The world might think it's silly to be sweet, to fall in love, to believe in romance, but I'm not blind. I cannot focus myself in structures and material things and 9 to 5s when I look outside and I look at nature, and I'm so touched by its beauty. So touched by its beauty. I feel that nature is like a whole museum of art and wonder that's been provided to us to remind us this is your reality. A reality that is meant to take your breath away. That's what you're here for, And I refuse to focus in a world that's selfish, that pushes us to compete with one another, that puts us in a situation where we are harming the very masterpiece that was provided to us to exist, our wonderful nature. Now on the subject of AI, do you know how much energy it is consumed? Do you know the impact that it has on the environment? Whilst supposedly helping people, which it does, but the detriment of that help is that it kills critical thinking. It diminishes individuality a lot more than social media does. And the implications of this are wide and vast. I cannot be blind, and I cannot unknown things that I know. So I'm just gonna do the things that I want to do. The things that are good for me. I'm gonna love myself. I'm gonna love myself.